All right.
All right, so I'm just gonna give it over to Kyle, a little short intro. Kyle can introduce herself, but Kyle's been with me for 5 years. She was one of my first coaches ever, 4 months into my business. And her and I grew up together, literally next door neighbors when we were 6 until junior high. So we did all the fun stuff together, playing with toads and making stews out of dirt and twigs. And berries from the woods. So Kyle's just gonna take the stage, and for those watching the recording, I'll just post it in the Bod Squad unit section in our team event area. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit more about my story. I know I've done Bod Squad calls before, but there's new people on here, and I always just think it's fun to take bits and pieces from other people's story, because I know we can all. Oh gosh. All right, we're good. Okay, so like Brooke said, I have been coaching for 5 years, which is crazy. 2015 sounds like so long ago. But I like to share kind of my transition from being a very hobby coach to really going all in with this business, just to show you guys that you don't have to go all in from day one to make a shift now, or when you feel like you're ready to do that. So when I started coaching, I had done Beachbody before. I didn't really know Beachbody was a thing. I had a really annoying coach that reached out to me all the time. That was assigned to me, and I never got back to her. But then I saw Brooke sharing about her challenge groups, and my husband and I were engaged at the time, and I've always been into health and fitness, but just didn't have anything to keep me consistent at that time. And when I had done all the Beachbody programs in the past, I did the workouts. I didn't need the nutrition plan, and I definitely didn't need Shakeology. So actually, when Brooke told me about this is how you sign up, you do Shakeology and the 21-day fix, back then it was all DVDs. I was like, I think I can just buy the 21-day fix and do it on my own. I don't really need the shakes or, whatever. But my mom actually had reached out to Brooke already and ordered Shakeology from her. And she bought my first bag of Shakeology. So that was really what did me in with getting into the group. And of course I loved it. I fell in love with the whole aspect, and started as a coach 2 weeks later. So bought my challenge pack 2 weeks after that. But so my big goals when I first started were really just for the extra accountability to stay consistent with my health and fitness to get in shape for my wedding. And if I could help a few people along the way, then that would be cool. So I did all the in front of the scenes things. I posted on social media, I ran challenge groups every month, but I basically worked with people who came to me, which, as we all know, that can work a little bit for a little amount of time, but you can't build a business that way. So I had some success, some good months, hit Success Club here and there in my first, I would say, 6 to 9 months. And then we got married and we got pregnant. And I was working as an occupational therapist, 40 to 50 hours a week, working 2 jobs. And I didn't really see that being sustainable once we had kids. So I went more in at that time. I definitely wouldn't say I went all in. I did more things, but still when it was convenient for me. So I hit Diamond shortly after that and went to my first summit. And every year at Summit for 3 years in a row, I was like, I'm going to be up on stage that next year. I'm going to be up on stage next year. I'm going to be up on stage next year, but still just continued to do the things when it was convenient for me, and sat at Diamond for 3 years. And it was, I guess, my 4th summit. I can't remember, 3rd or 4th, where I was like, okay, for real, I'm done with this just kind of sitting here. So that was when I really was consistent for an entire year of doing all the things all the time, even when I didn't feel like it. And we were up on stage next year as a 2-star team. So that was really when the big shift in my business happened, even though I was, kind of all in. It's been a really slow progression for me to feel like I was really all into it and really wanting to grow a big business with that. And a lot of it was, my own fears and hesitations, which we all have. And it's kind of a miracle I stuck with it. There's those first 6 months because I wasn't doing PD. Brooke was a baby coach at that time too, so we didn't have any trainings. We had a disaster when it came to upline support beyond her. And but yeah, we stuck with it and just have continued to grow beyond that. So some things that I want to talk tonight about that have really, I feel like, attributed to me sticking with it and then continuing to grow as a team is having a success partner and then the community that we have built. So I want to first talk about a success partner because I think that is, I know that's one of the big things that not only kept me in it, but really kept me pushing and helped me to push beyond my limits. Sabrina and I work together. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that, but we kind of partnered together by accident. We were at Summit one year and just like, you know, built a friendship. And to be honest, when we really started working together, both of us were in a really tough spot. For me, I was postpartum with my first and just really struggling. So we almost kind of came together in a bad place, but it worked out that we were able to kind of bring each other out of it and work together because we were at a similar level and had similar goals. So I think and I know a lot of people will like reach out to a success partner and actually kind of just like initiate that. I know that's how it formed for us, isn't typically how it happens. Yeah, like Brooke said, that's rare. But I would suggest, like, if you are reaching out for a success partner, and I do like suggest that all of my girls try to find a success partner because it can be such a vital part of this business. I think obviously having your coach is amazing, but just having somebody that's at your level that you can reach out to more, that you can problem solve with, is really key. So what I tell my girls when really thinking about that is to think about somebody that's going to make you level up. Like if you have big goals and you want to make 6 figures with this, don't pair up with a hobby coach. Not that there's anything wrong with people not having big goals, but that's not going to push you at all. So you really want to find somebody that has big goals with you and is willing to run with you and lock arms and move forward with that. And just, you know, finding out what works best for you. Like we check in with each other a million times a day. I find when I'm like having a hard day and she's like, I just did Success Club 10. I'm like, well, crap, I better send out some invites. So just having that like one-on-one accountability is just really huge. And it has been one of the reasons that I have not only stuck with it, but just continued to set goals and continued to level up, continued to set action plans and really kind of, you know, problem solve what is not working for me right now. What do I need to do better? And how can we help each other get to that next level? So that has been really big for me. And then what has been a huge aspect, positive aspect for the team that we've built is really having a very large and positive community. And this is something that it can take a lot of work. It doesn't have to. I will say, like when we were all baby coaches, it was kind of the expectation of like, you have your own team page and you do all your own groups and you do everything by yourself. So I kind of feel like I built that community the hard way. And don't feel like if you are a newer coach or you don't have, if you don't have a team page, you don't have to do all of those things in order to really start to establish community within your team. I mean, having a big team is amazing, and definitely, you know, have your team be a part of that too, because that's something really, really powerful to be a part of. But I think there's a lot of power too in having a community with your own team, because a lot of your coaches are going to be at the same level, and you can really set yourself up in that leadership role and share your visions for your team and where you want to see your team go. And something that I think has been really powerful about having a close-knit community is that it has given people within my downline relationships outside of just having me as their coach. And I think it's kept a lot of people around in the business a lot longer who may not be shooting for big goals, but they are a part of the community and they have friends within the community, and that keeps them you know, at the very least, doing their workouts and just being a part of something, which is what everybody wants, even if they're not even working the business. They have just really come close with a lot of people and don't want to lose that community aspect because it is so positive and so powerful. So, and something that I think is really important is to set up expectations within your community. And this is something I realized in a training that I'm going through that I kind of started to do before even realizing what I was doing. But you are setting expectations for what you want your community to look like by the way you're posting, by the way you're doing your invites, not just once those people come on to you. And something that I realized that I was doing was I started to really dig into my target market and opened up a lot about a lot of things that were scary for me to open up, my faith being one of them. And I noticed that a lot of the women who started joining my team were very strong in their faith and very open about that. And that's just an example for me personally, but envisioning what you want your team and your community to look like and then calling out to that is setting up your community before you're even there. And then going beyond that, setting up a community within your challenge group. Even if you have a group of challengers that are not yet coaches on your team, you're setting expectations and being excited about everything you're doing and bleeding that positivity and just basically acting like you have a big team and a community before it's there. And people will just be attracted to that and want to be a part of it. And then going beyond that, setting expectations up with your coaches. When I do like coach prospects call, I tell people like this business, I mean, you don't have to be on all of our team calls. You don't have to work out with us every day, but I want people on our team who are positive, who are high energy, who are, you know, driven to do this, and just, you know, kind of letting people know up front what you are really searching for and what you want. I think that brings those positive people into your community and people who want to have a part in that. And like I said, not everybody will take an active role. I have coaches who are working their business and doing big things with it who aren't a huge part of the community, and that's okay. But I still think it's really important to have that there for the people who want it and need it. So some things, just some suggestions, some things that we do within our community, some things that you can do without putting in a ton of work, without setting up a team page, without doing all these things on your own, in addition to what Bod Squad has. You can do just like a simple Facebook Messenger thread. Even if you don't have any coaches on your team, you can set that up with your challengers. If you are a part of the virtual gym, set up a message pod just with your challengers. So you have a smaller place for them to connect with each other, for you to be a leader to them. And then again, if you maybe have a couple coaches on your team, you can set up just a messenger pod with your coaches. So again, not needing to create a big team page and putting in all this extra work for yourself, but just having a small, simple place where you can check into a couple times a week and have a touch point for everybody below you, where they know you're there, they know that you're not going anywhere, but you're not having to message every single person every single day or every single week and spend a lot of time doing that. And then something that we have started doing recently, and this is something that I heard about from New Leadership, is we have push pods. So these are, again, just messenger threads within our team, and it is kind of based on rank. So we're really setting people up with people who are at their level, whether they've been in this business for a year or 5 years and not really done with it. So we have an Emerald push pod, and everybody who has not yet hit Emerald that is working towards that goes in that pod. And once a week we share a training and just a small assignment that that is really geared towards that rank and that level. And it's just a really cool way for people to connect with people who are at their exact level, maybe form, you know, a success partnership through that. And then we took Brooke's idea of Sapphire and kind of built a rank between Emerald and Diamond, since that's a big jump So everybody who has hit Emerald but does not yet have 4 coaches on their team are in that middle pod. And then we have a Diamond Dash pod. So it's not a big group where we're having to post every day, check in every day. It is just something where we can, again, like check in once a week, every couple of weeks. But with this, I can talk to all of my coaches every single day if I wanted to, once a week if I wanted to, in 3 messages. And that way, again, I'm there for them. They know I'm there. I have a touch point with them, but I'm not having to spend a whole lot of time pouring into every single person, every single day, every single week, and is building relationships within the team. So I'm not the only, point of contact that people have to depend on and really lean on. So those have been really cool. And again, you don't have to have a huge downline. I mean, you could start with just your team and then kind of build into having those ranks once you have more of a team under you. And then something else that we've started doing, and I know a lot of other people in this team have done, is to really show that community through stories, like tagging those of you Motivational Monday, and we all do like a dumb dance with our Energize, but we tag everybody in it. So then my stories is not just me, but it's, like 10 or 15 other people with their Energize. And it just shows that like this community of people that I'm talking about, this team that you're going to be a part of, when I am doing call to actions and inviting people, like it's real. I'm not making this up in my head. We have a team and we have a community, and we have this big support system. So that's kind of a fun thing to do, but it also like really shows that community publicly and shows people what they're coming into and what they could potentially be a part of by joining your team. So yeah, that's all I really have. Does anybody have any questions?
I love that, just the whole community thing. It really serves, like, how Christina Solon says, like, the top 20% of your team makes up 80% of your income. Well, everyone else needs something, like a team, a community. And that's like still a big part of our income, you know what I'm saying? Like that 20%. And so having community just really serves them in that way, because they don't necessarily need you all the time. They don't need your one-on-one focus and training and mentorship. And they get that with the other girls on the team who are going at the same pace as them. And they have all the trainings and the team calls and the power hours and like all these events that they can plug into. So I love that it serves that part and makes them happy, because usually most people don't want to be in this business to make a lot of income. They just want to make a little bit and then have the friendships and the community. And that's really important. So I love that that serves that.
Yeah, and I mentioned this, but like I know there's a lot of girls on our team who like have kind of taken a step back from being a super active coach or even having the big goals they may have started with. And the fact that they are, on team workouts or in these pods has kept them around and just allowed them to continue to be a part of something, even if their business goals change, which happens a lot, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yep. It's better to be that pace than nothing,
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's kind of how we used to be too, like run or nothing. Like,
yes.
Christina slapped me on the face one time.
Nothing. Yeah. Have a team page, make all your own trainings, do everything for everybody.
Scare away everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Kyle, I just wanted to say thanks for sharing.
What was that?
I just wanted to say thanks for sharing. I just hopped on at the end, but I'm really looking forward to watching like the beginning of the call too.
Of course.
I think it's really like very true that, I can just speak for like what me and I've been working a lot with Melanie McDaniel, Rachel Sargent, and Rachel Olmstead. We have like a success pod because we're all kind of like have the same goal right now. And so we like check in with each other every day, but like we don't all have the same upline coach. So I think that the community thing is a really great thing to bring into it, because it's like just remembering that, you know, you're building the foundation for your own team when you have people join you, but encouraging them to like reach out to other people. I think what we've built together in the BOD squad, or like as we expand, like building in our own team pages or using BOD groups, is just such a cool like piece of the community and what we do. So I just appreciate you sharing. Thank you.
Of course.
Kyle, can you expand more on like what things look like between you and Sabrina, what they have looked like, you know, just kind of like day-to-day stuff, like especially when things shift? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we talk like constantly. I know that doesn't have to be a requirement as a success partner, but we talk one-on-one, like on the phone, on Zoom. I don't know that it's like necessarily every single month. It's not like scheduled, but when we're like feeling stuck or feeling like we need a shift or feeling like, okay, this isn't working right now, like let's problem solve and do things differently. So like we both did a big kind of push season together in February, and we sat down and we were like, we are hitting 5-star. We're going to be at leadership this year. Like what do we need to do? What does that look like for us? And we like mapped out, like, this is how many invites we're going to send out a day. This is how many follow-ups we need to do. This is how many, basically like set our numbers for our power hour and like checked in every day. And there would be days where I'm like, I did half of my invites today. I like, hold me to them tomorrow. I need you to, hold me accountable. So really kind of setting those expectations up from the beginning, and what we needed from each other to make sure that we kept pushing, and that we are able to like push each other through the rough seasons, because we're all gonna, go through things. And yeah, is that what you meant by that?
Yeah, and what do you recommend for like goals and like personalities? Like if you were to basically like give kind of like a, like some tips for like what to look for in a success partner, like what would be kind of like the bullet points?
I definitely think somebody who's like kind of at your level, so you are pushing for the same goals, and then on the opposite end of that, somebody who does have similar goals to you, so that you are wanting to kind of work at the same pace and work towards, you don't have to have the exact same goals, but like same level. If, like I said, if you're wanting to make 6 figures, don't pair up with somebody who wants to make $100 a month, because it's not gonna push you. And for me, like Sabrina and I are very similar personality wise, so I think that's helpful, that we are able to, like, we kind of know what each other needs. If I'm having an off day, she is able to, give me tough love when I need it, or extend some compassion when I need that too. So I think, but know your personality type too. We're both pearls and don't work well with somebody being like, this is what you need to do. If you don't do it today, you're failing at this. So I think, again, going back to personality types and those gem personalities, and really knowing what you need and what type of personality you are, and what you can bring to somebody, and how you can serve that relationship too. So I don't necessarily want to say it needs to be somebody who's the same personality type as you. I think sometimes, people who are different personalities could need somebody who is a different personality than them. But I will say, somebody in the past reached out to me to be a success partner that is no longer on our team. And I just knew, like, this person is not somebody that I am compatible with. And, just kind of didn't do anything with it. But I think it's important to identify that too. Again, don't, do what's serving you, and not necessarily somebody who's your best friend. That's not always going to be the person that's going to push you to where you need to go. So really kind of just assessing what kind of personality you are and what you know that you need to push yourself to that next level. Hi, Kristen.
Hey. Thank you for clarifying that. That's super helpful. Do you also find that, like, did you and Sabrina kind of go over like, what are you strong at? What are you weak at? Like, do you guys find that it worked really well to kind of find like strengths where you were weak?
Initially, no. I mean, like I said, we weren't like necessarily seeking out a success partner, which I think is how it typically happens. Ours kind of, again, was like out of a rare place where we were just both struggling and needed something, and we're able to kind of pull each other out of that. But now, yes, we for sure do. Like when we do sit down, meet on Zoom and really figure out what we need, like we do kind of assess our business and ourselves, and like this is what I'm struggling with, this is what I need, and set goals around that, and make sure that like that's where we're pushing each other, and that's what we are checking in with each other on. And just, so yeah, not initially, but that is definitely something that we do now.
That's right. You guys came together like super natural. It wasn't like a forced thing.
Nope. A bus ride at Summit.
It is so cute. But seriously, I've seen a lot of people stick around who otherwise probably wouldn't have if they didn't have their success partner that they've had for a while. So that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, Danielle. That is definitely, and like Naomi said, it doesn't have to be somebody even within our team. I mean, if you're in a group elsewhere and connect with people through that, I think just the most important thing is just finding somebody who you are going to connect with, who will help you push and level up to where you need to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For people watching the recording, Danielle said just shows how important live events are. Mm-hmm. So true. Rachel goes, I am off to find my success partner. It's cute.
And I have found that as a coach, an upline coach, suggesting success partners to people doesn't always go well. So I usually tell people to, seek somebody out and search for what you're looking for, because if it doesn't work out, then it's not on you.
Yeah. Now I've had like 2 success partners that like one just wasn't doing as much as me. I was going like 100 miles per hour. She was going like 60. She was just inconsistent, wasn't taking her business seriously. And then the second one I had, she is at a different place now in her business where she's like all gung-ho in, but when we had tried it out, she just wasn't there yet. Like her current life phase just was not well, and she really needed to take care of her mental health first and foremost. And so it kind of, again, brought me down. So yeah, you have to like test it out and never be afraid to like end it if it's not. Yeah. Usually they just kind of fizzle out, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is like, you always want to make sure that anything in this business, not just with the success partner, that it's serving you. And if it's not, you're not married to that person, that you need to stick with it just for them. I mean, it needs to benefit both of you to an equal level.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Rachel Sargent. Yeah. She said, completely okay to distance yourself from success partners that aren't working. Most of the time they are very understanding. Mm-hmm. That's nice. Yeah. Any other questions or comments you guys have for Kyle?
Can I say one thing?
Go for it.
So Jessie Swaffer was my first success partner, and we actually kind of came together because she hit like diamond, like really, really quick, the first dash to diamond. And I reached out to her and I was like, what did you do and how did you do it? And that's kind of how her and I became success partners, and we were still really good friends. But I think with any success partner, you may grow or outgrow, those people. And I think it's completely okay. But I thought it was really beneficial to seek someone outside of my own personal team to see like what kind of training she was having and how she was doing things. And so that was really beneficial in the time of her and I working together. And initially when we were working together, that was my initial push when I first hit Diamond. We were working like every day together, 5 a.m. But that's just what I wanted to add.
Can I add something too? I think it's like I had something very similar where I met my initial success partner at Summit. And I just think it's important to note that like actions speak louder than words. Because I found she was saying that she wanted a lot of things, but her actions weren't lining up with what she was saying she wanted. And we would get on a weekly call and it would just be like excuse after excuse of why she wasn't doing certain things, where then I had to find success partners that really wanted to work this business with me. And it's made a world of a difference in my business over the last 3-4 months.
Do you have more than one success partner, Rachel?
Yeah, I'm success partners with Naomi, Melanie McDaniel, and Rachel Olmsted. We're like a little success pod.
Yeah, well, that shows.
Can I say that I've noticed a complete shift in you too? That
I'm trying.
yeah, that was like the best decision.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and like she's still like, we talk all the time. Like she's still like one of my very good friends. We have very similar personalities, but as success partners, we just didn't mesh very well.
Yeah. That's really cool that you guys know you can be friends and be able to like separate the two, that she's just not there and that's totally fine. It doesn't affect the friendship. Kyle, did you see Lacey's question?
No, I was just reading it. So I was a couple of years into my business. I suggest like after month 1 that all of my newer coaches who are, really in the business and wanting to work it kind of seek somebody out again, even if that changes over time. I think having that early on is really beneficial because like Brooke said, it keeps some people in the business and strong in their business who may otherwise kind of fizzle out because they have that more one-on-one accountability. I mean, being a part of team power hours and everything is great, but in that kind of stuff, you can kind of hide behind the scenes and say you're doing the things and working. Whereas if you really are working one-on-one with somebody else and both are wanting to hold each other accountable to your goals, I think that can be really beneficial in the beginning, as long as it's not too overwhelming. So again, really assessing what you need and what you can bring to somebody else. I think seeking out somebody that like maybe not the person scares you a little bit, but thinking like, oh, I'm really gonna have to push myself if I feel like I'm gonna level up to work with them. I think that's huge because it really does make you level up and make sure that you're doing the things that you feel like you need to for them and for you.
That last thing you said is so true.
Yeah.
I mean, everything you said is true, but that's like how they make you feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a coach on my team and she was like reaching out to success partners, and I think it was kind of like just a personality thing, like people that she feel like needed her help. But I think you need to seek out people who are gonna, push you. I mean, of course, we all want to help each other, but you need to do what's best for your business and really push yourself outside of that comfort zone.
Kind of like when we're looking for like coach prospects and there's this like well put together person and you're like, oh my God, that's the person you're supposed to be inviting. Yep.
How often do you and Sabrina like have like, did I already miss that? Did you already talk about that?
What was your question?
How often do you and Sabrina like have y'all's calls?
It's kind of random. Like I said, we don't like schedule a monthly, but maybe once a month or once every couple months, just when we really feel like we need to assess what we're doing and change things up, or if we have something really awesome that we want to share with each other and implement.
Okay.
It's been a little harder in quarantine with all the children home.
Sabrina's like, I'm drowning.
More so for her than me, I think. She can handle 5, I can handle 2 over here.
I know. I'm like, I am pathetic over here. Did you see Lacey's question, Kyle?
No, I didn't. Lacey, I think, I mean, kind of like I said, reaching out to somebody that's going to push you. I mean, I think if you really have big goals and you want to not learn everything, because none of us learn everything, but if you know, yeah, I think so. I mean, again, depending on where you're at, but like I said, if it's somebody who's going to push you and you feel like you can bring something to push them, I don't think as a new coach you should feel like you're not worthy to work with somebody. If you have the right mindset that you're gonna push somebody. I mean, at the end of the day, like Sabrina and I check in with each other on what we did, so it's, I mean, we could be different levels apart, but just bringing each other up to the next level. So no, I don't think you should feel like that, as long as you're in the right mindset to really know that you're gonna push hard and bring as much to the table as they're bringing. Sabrina said, I think it's more of similar goals, mindset, and willing to work. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes new coaches coming together, it can be kind of squirrely sometimes, because it's kind of a crapshoot with any new coach. And like, if you have one coach who's like all in it and then all of a sudden one just fizzles off, I guess that's just something that the one who stays needs to note and be aware of, is that might happen. You know, you might have to find a new success partner if it's like a new coach teaming up with a new coach.
Yeah, because so many people don't stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that everyone does have success partners. That's just something, again, that came about like very organically with us, but it's been really game changing for both of our businesses.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have questions?
Do you see Kristen's?
Yeah. I mean, I think even like just posting in the team page, and this is kind of what we're looking for. Again, I don't necessarily always like to suggest like this one person should work with this person, because you're kind of playing a big role in that, which may or may not work out well. But if you know of somebody who's looking for a success partner, you could make that suggestion. But again, I've seen people, even like not within our team or Bod Squad, like I don't even remember. I know there's so many like pages out there that is a random mix of coaches. Someone will just say like, I'm a diamond coach. I have goals to do this. I'm looking for a success partner. So I think just kind of calling out what you're looking for in any page you're a part of could be a way to do it too.
I have this going up in the Bod Squad.
Love it.
I'm like, let's make a graphic.
Did you just make that now?
No, Lindsay made it. It was in preparation for this call. I'm like, perfect, we can post this after.
Yeah. Success partner or success group is yeah, Brooke, I think that's awesome to just kind of let people know that that they can search for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else?
And obviously, like, you guys have shared, it doesn't have to just be one other person. If there's a group of people that you really work well together, that can bring a lot of different dynamics and accountability to the table.
Yeah. Rachel, anything that you found to, I know you unmuted yourself too. Were you gonna say something? I just was
I
gonna
was
ask
just
you
gonna
about
say,
yours.
yeah, it's actually helped to have like, at least for us to have a group, just because we are different personalities. And I don't know if you guys have read F Leadership, but he says the 4 animal personality types, and I am a total peacock and working on it. But Rachel is definitely like a golden retriever, and Melanie is very much a rhino. And I found like if I'm struggling with something, or like if I'm like trying to ask a question, Melanie is not my top person to go to because of her rhino personality. And it's nothing against her, just like I don't react well personality wise, like to how she responds to my questions. So like I need somebody like a Rachel who is a more of a golden retriever, is more caring, more empathetic towards my questions, where Melanie's just like, go find the answer. Like, it's not that difficult. And so it's kind of been nice to have like a group atmosphere, just so like the different personalities like interact differently, and you kind of figure out like who is going to give you the hard truth when you need it, or like if you're struggling and you just need somebody to be to empathize with you, like you can go to somebody else too.
I'll even say that to Naomi, you know, her and I have become really close friends, and there will be times when she just needs me as a friend. And then there will be times where she like wants my business hat on. So I'll ask her like, should I be putting my friendship hat on or my business hat? And she goes, friendship hat. And I'm like, okay. So then I know to be more empathetic and not so like solution oriented, like let's solve all the problems, you know? So sometimes it helps too to just kind of say like, this is what I'm looking for. If you're like needing more like empathy or whatever, especially if you're dealing with a rhino, because I'm a rhino. And yeah, personalities are so important. It's so important for you to know who you are. And then it's important to know who everyone else is too, because that's a prime example, Rachel. That's how I used to be to everybody, and it doesn't work. You know, as a leader, you kind of have to acquire this like personality disorder and be a chameleon. It's hard, but yeah. Anyways, total side note. Anybody else? Did people get a picture? No?
I didn't take one.
I did a boomerang.
Did you? I got a couple sneaky ones, but I'm like, oh, let's get a nice one. Hillary! What's up, girl? Hey, Sabrina. Everyone's popping out of the woodwork.
My picture?
Everyone's like, I'm breastfeeding. 3, 2, 1. Cute. All right. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Of course. Thank you guys for hopping on and sharing and listening.
You are the best. Seriously. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. See ya.